The Final Four is here. Welcome into another episode of Getting Technical, brought to you by Better and Green. Wyatt, down to the last three games of kind of the last three games of the college basketball season. We still have the NIT, we still have the crown, but in the final few days of college basketball here, going to be breaking down our Final Four matchups. We have Illinois and UConn going at 6:09 Eastern on Saturday night, and then your boys, Michigan, playing Arizona at 8:49 Eastern on Saturday night, and that will almost undoubtedly be the game of the tournament. Probably, in my opinion, will decide who ends up being your national champion. But before we get into the games, into the breakdowns, we do have a little time here with only two games. Gotta ask, how's it feel to be back in the Final Four? First time since 2019, I believe, for Michigan. And how you feeling, without giving too much away of your breakdown, how you feeling going into this weekend?
Yeah, it's nice, making it to the Final Four. Michigan has actually done very well in the Final Four. I think they're 6-0, like in history in their Final Four. Most recently, you said 2018, they win that game. 2013, they win that game. They go on to lose a national championship game in both of those. But yeah, it's exciting to be back. I'm very happy that I have basketball. I know you have basketball to watch this weekend, but I have basketball that I really care about this weekend. So it's just a nice little thing for Saturday. I think I'm gonna have the place to myself. I think I'm gonna buy a couple beers and just
Nice.
enjoy the game. So I'm really looking forward to that part of it. But matchup scares the death out of me. I think Arizona's been the best team since the be right before I guess the end of the regular season. I think Arizona's the best team, with Duke kind of falling off with injuries. That Duke kind of looked shaky in the ACC tournament. I thought Arizona was the best team in the country, and I think they still are. And they scared the death out of me. They beat up on Purdue pretty badly after being down at half. I mean, this team is terrifying. And then the other teams, UConn, Illinois. We'll get into it, but coin flip game. They did play before. We'll talk about it in a second. So, yeah, I don't feel great about the Final Four. I'm probably going to dive into the player prop route like I always do, and maybe just have a couple money lines out there. Maybe just sprinkle a correct champion with the runner-up type of bet. I don't know how I'm going to play this Final Four, but I'll definitely be playing some player props, so listen in for those because I do like a couple.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the coin flip here. Both spreads right now sitting at 1.5. Which I saw something that would be the first time if they close 1.5, first time that both Final Four spreads are under 2 points in like a long, long time. So yeah, going to be a great weekend. Two great games, but let's get into them here. We're going to start with the first game, Illinois and UConn. I'll start with this game so I can send Michigan over to you for your first breakdown. We have Illinois as the 3 seed who advanced to the Final Four as your 1.5 point favorite. UConn, the 2 seed, as your 1.5 point home dog. Over under 139.5. Yeah, this game has me in a complete pickle. I think sharp action came in right away on Illinois, bumped the line, I believe, from 1.5 up to 2.5. It's now been bought back down to that 1.5, and that's probably where it's going to sit. I have a future on UConn to win it all. I will be hedging off that at some point, whether it's this week or this game or the championship game if they make it that far, or maybe both. I'm going to take UConn here. I know the Sharps hit Illinois early. I know Illinois is great offensively, which, we've kind of seen a shift in where, everyone always says defense wins championships. But, lately I think you got to have some offense. We just saw it in the Super Bowl. I know it's a completely different sport, but um, you have to have some offense nowadays to win these championships, I think, in every single sport. And so that does make me a little bit nervous because Illinois' offense is quite a bit better than UConn. But I'm just going to ride the experience. Dan Hurley, the team that's been here, done that. They had the improbable win over Duke. So I don't know. It's hard to say it's a bad spot because the Final Four. I mean, it's you give everything you have. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad spot, but crazy win for UConn, obviously over Duke. I'm not gonna call it a letdown, but they had to be feeling really good about themselves, and just kind of hard to get back into the getting back to practice and refocusing on Illinois. So I don't necessarily love that here for UConn. Again, I think the offensive edge is with Illinois, but I do think UConn can be a little bit of a matchup problem inside for Illinois. I think defensively, UConn does have a slight edge, and then coaching is just at this point in the year, I'd put a lot on coaching, and obviously Dan Hurley is the best coach at this point, regardless of the other teams here in the Final Four. He's the one coach in all of college basketball that I would like to back here in the Final Four game. So I'm going to lean UConn. I think Illinois is both a little bit sharp and a little bit public. So yeah, I'll go against it. It's not something I'm super confident in. Again, I have a ticket on UConn to win it all, so I'll honestly probably end up hedging a little bit on Illinois, just to save myself and make a little profit if Illinois ends up winning this game. But yeah, gun to head, I do like UConn here. How are you breaking it down?
Yeah, like I said, this is a tough game. I did not even know these two teams played back in December. That was a 74-61 UConn win. But just yeah, a couple weird stats from this game. I mean, Wagler, who's Illinois' best player, played 14 minutes and had 3 points. Terrace Reed played 15 minutes and 2 points for UConn. So just we're seeing completely different teams for both teams. I mean, Terrace Reed's playing 35 minutes a game, scoring 20 points a game, getting 15 boards a game. Wagler has now become a lottery pick in the draft. So yes, UConn won that first matchup, but yes, these two teams are way different than they were back on December 8th or whatever that was. So don't take that recent game too much into your head and making you affect your decisions here. This one's just tough. And, in my head, I think Illinois is going to win, and then we'll get to the other side. And I do have like what I think should happen, but then I have something else where like I think it's going to be a national championship matchup between these two teams. And Illinois is not one of those teams. I think it's going to be UConn, and I think it's going to be someone else. But betting wise, I think it has to be Illinois here for me. So I'll give out the Fighting Illini here. I don't know. UConn just hasn't been like sure they beat Duke. I was honestly betting against Duke every single round in the tournament. I thought they were due for a letdown spot, and they weren't really let down. I mean, they lost by a crazy play, but I just wasn't sold on them after seeing what they did in the ACC with the injuries and everything. But this UConn team, and there's nothing special about them. They have Terrace Reed, my old Wolverine, who is an absolute tank in the paint. Besides that, they have Karabin, who is very on and off. They have Solo Ball, who sucks right now. They have that white boy that shot the half quarter, who really doesn't do much besides that. They have another dude who is like 10 points a game. Like they just don't have the guys that I'm like, wow, this terrifies me. Terrace Reed's scary, but like, I don't know. It's just not a terrifying team. And then you got Illinois, and these guys are just electric. They're number one offense in KenPom. They got their two big European, they have a 7'2 center and a 6'9 forward. They have Wagler, who's a lottery pick. They have Boswell, who can go off whenever. They got their six man is Peja's son in the NBA. Like this team is scary offensively, and defensively they're not fantastic. And I guess if UConn wants to win this game, they're going to have to slow it down. But I think Illinois is a better team, so I'll take Illinois to win this game. I do have a couple player props. Sorry, I'm going a little long here. I know Solo Ball has sucked, but I think Illinois is going to make an emphasis on shutting down Terrace Reed inside. I think Illinois is then aware of the two great white shooters for UConn. And I think that's going to open up Solo Ball, who has sucked this tournament. But I like him 2+3s. I think he's going to get open on the perimeter. And then for Illinois, like I said, Wagler played 14 minutes and 2 points in that first matchup. I think he's going to obviously do better than that. I don't want to take his points, so I am going to take his rebounds, though. 5+ boards, -135. Wagler is one of the highest rebounding guards in the country. And like I said, the bigs are going to be battling down low for both teams. I think you're going to get some opportunities for Wagler against a less athletic Karabin or the other white boy guarding him potentially. So Wagler, 5 boards for me. Sorry, I went a little long there, but yeah, don't like either of these games. So I'll probably lean heavily on the player props.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up their earlier matchup this season, and I think it is worth noting that game was played neutral site, so same as this one, but Madison Square Garden, obviously way closer to UConn. And this game in Indianapolis, way closer to Illinois. That being said, UConn's going to travel pretty well, but UConn, I'm sure, had more of a home advantage at MSG, where Illinois might have a slight home advantage here in Indianapolis. But yeah, a little disagreement on the first one, which is good. Little viewpoint from both sides. But let's move on to the second game. Your boys, Michigan, the 1 seed, matching up with the other 1 seed in that side of the bracket, Arizona. Arizona is the 1.5 point underdog in this one, over under 157.5. High total here. I wouldn't take the under, but I want to hear how you're breaking down Michigan, Arizona.
Yeah, immediately Arizona opened as a favorite, and immediately someone jumped on Michigan to push Michigan to the favorite, and it hasn't budged since. So just keep that in the back of your mind. With that being said, like sure, Michigan's scored 90 points in every single game in March. Sure, they've I think beaten each team by double digits, whatever. But they've beaten their best team was a 4 seed Alabama, who we all know what Alabama is. They're all offensive, no defensive. It's just not going to work against a great team. They beat a Tennessee team who was a 6 seed. They obviously beat the 16 seed, and then they beat a mid-major St. Louis. So sure, impressive for Michigan, 90 points, double-digit wins. But then you go to Arizona, not as good, but they knocked off Purdue, who was the Big Ten champ. That's a very impressive win for how good the Big Ten has done this tournament. God, I'm blanking. Who else did they beat? Arkansas, who everyone was on. Arkansas. A-Cup Junior was nuts. They won the SEC. They knock off Arkansas. So they knock off the two big Big 12 champions, and much more impressive resume. And the line jumped to Michigan. So that does, I don't know. It makes me like Michigan as a betting aspect, but I don't know if I buy it there. In regards to matchup, I mean, it's not a good. It's a good matchup for the bigs for Michigan. Guard wise, Michigan's going to be in some trouble here. You got Burries, sorry, and then their other dude, I don't know, their other guard, Bradley, who is the Big 12 Player of the Year, who I didn't even really know about. Apologies, but I always saw it was Burries for this team, but Bradley is the Big 12 MVP. So two fantastic guards. Michigan's guard play, as we all know, not fantastic. So Arizona's going to have a huge advantage of the guards. They have Koa Pete, who is an absolute tank, as their 4-man. Then they got another 7-footer that's going to give Mara some trouble. So Mara and Mo Johnson are going to be kind of battling with their matchups. Cadeau and whoever Michigan's 2 is going to be battling with those guards. It's going to free up Yax. I mean, I know it's super obvious to say Yax is Michigan's guy. Yax has propelled them to this spot, probably propelled them to this historic season. But it's got to be Yax. And I know it's super obvious, like I said, but they're giving us 20-plus points for Yax at plus 185. They're giving us 25 points for Yax at plus 560. You have to take it. Who's going to guard him? If they're going to guard him with Pete, then Mo Johnson's going to get open. They're going to have to switch with Pete. Like, there's no one to guard Yax on Arizona. So they do have that Serbian dude, but he's just not athletic enough to guard him. So it's got to be Yax points for me. I am going to take Michigan, but like I said, I don't love that bet. Don't want to give that out as a very confident bet. I'm just a homer fan here. But I do like Yax points. And then Arizona doesn't shoot a whole lot of threes. It's actually, I think like when they beat I think they played UConn. When they beat UConn, Arizona shot 10 threes and they made 2 of them. So like this is not a 3-point shooting team. This is a dish and drive and play down low type of team. But the one guy that does shoot threes is Burries, and Michigan cannot guard the 3. This guy is going to shoot, he'll probably have 3-4 3-point attempts, maybe 5. I'm going to bet on him to make 3 of those. Michigan can't guard the 3. It seems like Michigan lets the other team's best player or second best player or leading scorer just to do whatever he wants. So Burries 3+ threes is plus 158. I do like him 17+ points, but that's also the most public bet, public prop I'm seeing of the entire weekend. So probably stay away from that. But Burries 3s, Yax points. I'll be taking Michigan. Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, just to kind of co-sign on your Yaxel points prop there, just looking back at his tournament so far, and then even going back to the Big Ten championship game against Purdue. We're going to scratch Howard because that was obviously a much, much inferior opponent. Against Purdue, he had 20, St. Louis 25, Alabama 23, Tennessee 27. So 20+ in 4 of his last 5 games, and the one where he only had 9, but again, it's against Howard. It's a different game plan there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, I know Arizona is like the second or third best defense on KenPom, but they still allow these bigs to score a lot of points. Tanner Hawk for Florida had 27 points. Toppin for Texas A&M had 31 points. Diabanza, who's a little bit more of a guard than Yaxel, but still, I think he's 6'10", 24 points, 35 points. Jefferson for Iowa State had 21 points. Badunga for our Kansas, they're 6'10", power forward, 24 points. So still really good defense, but it does seem like they struggle to the stretch four type of players that Yax is. I guess Yax is a small forward, but those taller, more athletic dudes, it does seem like Arizona lets up some points. So I'm there. I'm there on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of nitpicking here too, but just looking at some other of the top teams or Sweet 16 teams at least that he played. I mean, Michigan State put up 26 and 27 in those two games. Duke 21. So he's doing it against the tough opponents where he kind of needs to take over a little bit more and create a shot. So yeah, I like the at least the 20 at the plus 180, 185 or whatever that price was. And you might as well take a stab at the 25 plus at over 5-1. So yeah, I do like that. I might have to look at props here in this game because yeah, it's a true coin flip here for me. I'm going to lean the Arizona side. Just think Arizona's the best team left here in the country. To be honest with you, if I do take a stand with the side here, I'll probably just bet Arizona to win the championship. You can get like plus 175, I think. And, at worst, if Arizona wins this game, you're going to have a really nice hedge opportunity because Arizona's probably going to be upwards of a 4-point favorite against either Illinois or UConn. Michigan in the same boat. They would be that big of a favorite. So I really do think the winner of this game is going to be your national champion. But yeah, I'm going to lean with Arizona. Just, you mentioned all the players that Arizona has. I do think Michigan is going to match up fairly well. I mean, it's two big teams, two physical teams. Really, every team left in this tournament is big. Illinois, I think, is the tallest team in the country. UConn's got some big guys. Both these teams are big. But, yeah, I just think, Arizona, the way they came back against Purdue, like you mentioned, is just really impressive. The way they just blew out Arkansas. Not really going to go back to the LIU, Utah State, because those are slightly inferior opponents there, but just hard to step in front of Arizona, hard to step in front of Michigan as well. I mean, they absolutely belt to ass over Tennessee, which I was hoping to get a little Tennessee lead so I could somehow hedge my Tennessee 10-1 Final Four future, but didn't even get the opportunity. It was 40-20 there real quick. So yeah, tough to step in front of either of these teams. Just going to lean Arizona just because I think they're the best team left in the country. Going to be a really good game. Wish I had more for you. And to be honest, I said in the when I was throwing it over to you, no way I could bet the under. I actually could bet the under. That is going to be probably the most contrarian play of the Final Four. Public's going to love the over. The Final Four game, the night game, the get all your money back game. I mean, no one's going to be taking the under. So we'll see if it gets pushed up a few more points. I actually might get there on the under, maybe a first half under. Let these two teams settle into each other a little bit. But yeah, that's probably the way I would look at it. Hold your nose if you do take that under because it's not going to be fun when they go, 5 straight possessions hitting threes over each other. But just hope it gets there. Should be a great game. Wish I had a little more confidence, but I really don't. So.
Yeah, I will say with the unders, this is played at Lucas Oil, I believe, which is a football stadium. The other, the Elite Eight, the Sweet 16 were all in basketball stadiums. So this is definitely going to have a much larger crowd, much larger backdrop, which sometimes, affects the depth perception or whatever. I think they are just messing around, but I saw Michigan put a basketball hoop in the middle of the big house and they were shooting there. I think they were just being stupid, but kind of to help with that depth, I guess, help with the depth perception. Also, and like I said, I had two teams. I have two different matchups for the championship that I just have set in my mind. I can't see Michigan, Illinois. I just can't see it. I would hate for that to happen, honestly. It would be great for the Big Ten, but I don't want to play Illinois again. So I either have Michigan, UConn, or I have Illinois, Arizona. Those are the two matchups in my head. So if you like Michigan, like me, I might just take a Michigan over UConn bet and just call it good. Or if you like Arizona, maybe an Arizona over Illinois bet. That would be a fantastic game. Arizona, Illinois, fantastic national championship game. Maybe take that as well. But those are the two matchups. I can't really see UConn, Arizona. I guess I could, but it's just not in my head. So, yeah, that's what I got. I don't know if that helps at all, but that's what I have like cemented in my head as the two possible scenarios.
Yeah, I might be a little bit lower on Illinois than I should be, but I think Illinois' only shot is getting Michigan again, just because it's a familiar opponent and anything can happen at that point. But that will wrap it, Wyatt, for our Final Four breakdown. Again, wish we had a little more confidence, but to be honest with you, it's the Final Four. I mean, these lines are sharp as possible. You're not really going to find an edge anywhere. I'm not gonna lie though, the more I think about it, I kind of like that first half under Michigan, Arizona. I'll probably be there. Don't even know what the number is, but it just makes sense to me. I could see a slow first 4 minutes, and you're hoping they don't catch fire in the last 6. So, but yeah, that will wrap it. We'll be back on Monday doing a championship breakdown. So stay tuned for that. We have a lot of other sports at our channel. We're doing UFC, MMA, every week that there's a card basically. Auto racing, PGA. We're gonna have our Masters preview out next week, so cannot wait for the Masters. Baseball, hockey, and basketball playoffs for NBA. We'll have content for that, so stay tuned for all that, guys. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing to our channel. Drop us a comment down below as well. Let us know your championship picks between these 2 games. But until next time, thanks for watching. We'll see you for another episode of Getting Technical, brought to you by Better and Green.
Welcome to Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? Listening and cash out, that's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spot from the bottom to the top, hey. Shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome to our podcast, Better and Green.